All right. Well, the, the give one of the worst performances that I've ever seen a Runnin' Rebel team put out in the second half versus Rutgers, and falls to 0-3 in the Players Era tournament. A really bad showing for UNLV basketball. Let's break it down. This is the Let's Run podcast. All right, everybody, welcome to the show today. Grateful to be talking to you. Did not get up a live reaction after the Alabama loss. Thought I would just kind of wait till the end of the tournament. UNLV had a very favorable matchup versus this Rutgers team. UNLV was favored heading into this game. UNLV was predicted to win this game by the computers, by Vegas. UNLV had plenty of talent to win this game and really put out in the second half just one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a Runnin' Rebel team. I want to break it down for you. I want to talk about what this means. It's going to be a pretty dark show today. And listen, it doesn't mean that I don't, that I'm not supporting the guys, that I don't believe this team has potential. But it's not going to be a very happy show today. It's not. And I'm going to listen, like, part of me, what you get when you watch the Let's Run podcast is you get honest analysis of the team, where it is, how it's playing. I don't try and sugarcoat things. I don't care. Obviously I know Josh and I appreciate Josh. I think he's a good guy, but I don't really care about if anybody sees this and is mad that I'm this mad at the team for how they played today. I would hope that the players are mad at themselves for how they played today. And I would hope that Coach Passner is livid with how that second half played out today. But let's break down the stats first, and then let's talk about kind of what this game did for the Runnin' Rebels in total. So Rebels play, let's go to basketball here. We'll do the stats first. Sorry, guys, just pulling it up here. Gosh, why didn't it just appear? So the Rebels end up losing by 15, 80 to 65. UNLV's offense really never made the 4-mile trip to the MGM Grand Arena. UNLV couldn't really score in any of these games like they had been scoring leading up to this, leading up to the tournament, this Eris Player Tournament. Kind of one bright side, I guess you could say, is that the Rebels don't play again until Stanford on the 7th of December. So the Rebels are going to get, something like 12 days off, or I think it's something around that. 13 days off to really kind of try and figure out who they are and how good they want to be, and kind of lick their wounds and try and get healthier. So UNLV, obviously they lose by 15. They were led in scoring by, it looks like, who led the team in scoring? I think it was Dre. So no, it was actually Tyron Jones and Kamani Hamilton both had 13 points. The Rebels really didn't play very bad in the first half. They were up by 6 at the half, or 5 at the half, 39 to 33. And this is kind of something you could say about all 3 games in the Players Era tournament. The Rebels played pretty hard in the first halves of all these games. Maybe not the Alabama game, but they were playing hard. Alabama was just better and was just hitting shots on them. But in the second half, man, when teams punched back, the Rebels folded like a table. And so, there's plenty of reasons as to why you can point out why the Rebels folded. But frankly, effort and consistency and, just give a bleep. I don't think the Rebels had enough of it in this game versus Rutgers. And, I feel like they let that Alabama team and I feel like that Maryland team that beat UNLV, and they let Maryland beat them 3 days in a row. They had a hard fought game that first day against Maryland. And once they lost that game, all the fight was kind of kicked out of them, and they were kind of paper tigery. So Tyron Jones, 13 points. I thought he was okay. Again, Tyron's been frustrating to me in this tournament because it feels like he's overplaying a lot. And I get it. He's a freshman. Like, you're expecting freshman mistakes from Tyron. But Tyron, he's jumping for too many pump fakes. He's not staying down on the ground. He's not playing off of 2 feet. But offensively, he was fine, 6 of 11 from the field. But Tyron was 1 of 5 from the free throw line. I don't know what to say about that. That's kind of crazy. He did have 3 blocks, 4 rebounds. Overall, I mean, not a great game from Tyron, but, he was fine. Kamani Hamilton, I thought, played a pretty good first half. He was 4 of 7 from the field, did hit his only 3, did have 7 rebounds. Didn't have any assists though. Had three kind of tough turnovers. And again, in that second half, when Rutgers came out and hit a couple of shots, Kamani's defensive efforts and attention to detail seemed to kind of fade really fast. Not just him, the whole team. It's not. Obviously he's a senior. He's supposed to be the best player on the team, but just didn't love Kamani's performance. Isaac Williamson, he looked tired. He looked beat up. And only 1 rebound, 3 assists, no turnovers. I mean, I don't know. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, the Runnin' Rebels are relying on Dre to take 3-pointers. Dre is taking like 6 a game, and he can't really shoot. Now, you have to understand that Dre was kind of meant to be a combo guard who maybe sometimes came off the bench and was kind of a slasher. And so Dre is trying to play the role that Miles Che, who is the starting point guard, is supposed to play. And Dre is just not a shooter. He's a terrible shooter. He's like a 25% 3-point shooter for his career. He's not really going to get that much better. It's not likely that he gets much better. I shouldn't say he's not going to, because he could. He did have 5 assists, only 1 turnover. I mean, once teams kind of figured out that you couldn't, that he didn't have much going, at least from the 3-point line, they just kind of packed the paint on him, said shoot away, and Dre's game kind of shriveled up there. Dishonorable mention to Howie Fleming, who just had a horrific game, 15 minutes, 0 points, 0 5 from the field, 0 2 from 3, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover. Howie just didn't have it today, and Howie didn't have it this entire tournament. He was not good in this Players Era tournament. The Howie Fleming that had 25 points against Memphis, I don't know where he is right now, but he's just not quite here. It's not a great performance from Howie. Walter Brown, I thought he was fine. Came in, got a couple rebounds, made a 3, 20 minutes. I will say the guy that impressed me the most on the team today was Nas Cunningham. He did only have 7 points, made a couple of 3-pointers, but he had a couple of good rebounds, played way more within the offense. Al Green, after kind of having a nice first half, disappeared in the second half. UNLV shoots 23% from the 3-point line, 63% from the free throw line, 40% from the field overall. UNLV out-rebounded in this game, I believe, 14, so that's 45. 33-45, UNLV, one of the worst rebounding teams in the country right now. And you can blame that on depth, but the Rebels have enough size to be a better rebounding team than this. I'm really disappointed in how they executed and how they played through a lot of this tournament. Kind of moving to the stats here, I suppose let me just get a few of let me go through guys' comments real quick, because I want to kind of address a few things, and then we'll kind of throw this out. The Rebels have played hard for stretches this year. They've had a couple of games where they played hard the whole time, but the Rebels did not play hard in the second half today. They didn't. And so I've seen some good effort from the Rebels, but I didn't see it today, and I understand that they were tired, and I'll address them being tired, but it wasn't a big fan. William says, I want to buy into Pastner, and we can only use injuries as an excuse to a point, but you still need to show effort and hit open shots. You're a D1 athlete, hit open shots. Yeah, man. That was bad. Daryl says the only 2 guys that give you dog effort are Jones and Green. I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I'm surprised. I thought the Rebels were going to win this game. In fact, I felt really confident that the Rebels had a chance to go 2-1 in this tournament, and going 0-3 is just pathetic. I mean, are you expecting to be invited back to this tournament next year for a program that badly needs the money? Are you expecting to be invited back if you show up and you get blown out like this? So a couple of the excuses that I'm sure some people will try and throw out, and I hope that I haven't seen anything that Josh said post game, but we're injured. Fair enough. I mean, obviously there were physical limitations on the guys that are on the floor. You're going to see some rebounding stuff that you're just not going to be able to get by. That you're going to see Rutgers, as they did in the first half, score inside a whole bunch. That's going to happen, and injuries to a point are totally something that you can say, well, we're injured. I mean, what can you expect? But at the same time, I just want to point something out about this Rutgers team, just in case anybody tries to sugarcoat this in any way. Rutgers is not good. Rutgers was bad. There's a reason why UNLV was favored to beat this Rutgers team. Rutgers lost at home to the 238th ranked team, Central Connecticut, and scored 54 points. Then they get blown out by Tennessee, and then they lose in somewhat competitive fashion to Notre Dame. You know, this UNLV right now is Rutgers' best win on the season. This Rutgers team is not good. They were picked to finish 17th out of 18 schools in the Big Ten. So, okay, well, we're injured, whatever. Another thing people will say, the Rebels were tired. UNLV was playing under the same parameters and same conditions that Rutgers was playing under. Rutgers had played 3 games in almost essentially 3 days. Rutgers had been blown out in their previous 2 games, not in similar fashion to what UNLV was, although UNLV lost to Alabama by more than Rutgers lost to Tennessee. Rutgers was dealing with the exact same conditions, and they came out and played hard, and you didn't, and you gave up an opportunity to build confidence heading into a 2-week break. I mean, now as Runnin' Rebel fans, we don't get to see this basketball team play for 2 weeks, and the last taste that we get in our mouths is them getting blown out by a bad Rutgers team. I'm sorry, man. Like, and again, Maryland, that was a winnable game, and the Rebels, I'm disappointed that they lost to that Maryland team because Maryland, again, was not a great team. But if you're trying to build a program, you just like the Rebels. Josh Pastner, I'm supporting him. I'm not mad. I'm mad at him. Honestly, I'm mad at some of the results that we've had this season. But I don't care about being fair. Effort. So Finzix, who I really like and I appreciate you, man, says, to be fair, we have less players. And like, if an evaluation, when a team doesn't play with the requisite effort, and you begin a sentence with "to be fair," I don't care about being fair against teams that aren't playing with effort. If you aren't playing with effort, there's no fairness that you deserve. If UNLV's going out there like they did against Maryland and trying their best and just coming up short, fair enough. Then we can say "to be fair." Because every team, here's another one. This team's been playing together for a few weeks now. They should be able to play as a team without a couple of players. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Sorry, Sin City. Yeah, I totally agree. I thought you were going with, well, these guys don't have a ton of experience playing with each other. It's like, neither does Rutgers. Neither does every team that UNLV is going to play. Most every team that UNLV is going to play. There are no excuses for lack of effort. There aren't. And I profusely praise teams when I feel like they're doing the right thing, but I am really harsh on teams when I feel like they're not doing the right thing. And I'm really harsh on coaches. And now, we don't have a home game until December 13th. Like, if you're trying to build momentum for a program, you're trying to get people to buy back in. I, on Monday, was begging people, and still will, beg people to come to the Thomas and Mack. And people are saying, oh, maybe I should go check out UNLV basketball. Let me see how they're doing this year. And they have home losses to Montana and home losses to UT Martin. And they go to the Players Era tournament and get blown out in 3 games. And their most impressive win is over a 1-4 Memphis team. How are you selling UNLV basketball? How are you selling it? How am I supposed to convince my friends that are disenfranchised by UNLV basketball to come down to the Thomas and Mack and watch games if we have that many bad results to start out the season? And frankly, even with the injuries, a lot of these results and a lot of this effort is just unacceptable. And so I get that you're tired, but your team can't fold like that. And look, Josh is going to have a couple of weeks here, essentially, before the Stanford game to kind of get back into the lab and try and figure out how to get this team playing to the level that it needs to play at. Because they're just not playing at a good enough level right now. And hopefully they can get healthier. I'm sure Jacob will be back. I'm sure, essentially, I think that this, Josh has talked about by conference play, we're going to be good. By conference play, we're going to be good. And really, I think this game at Stanford on December 7th and this time period that UNLV has off between now and then, where the guys hopefully will get to go home, take a rest. When they come back, they have to be ready to go. They have to be ready to play with better effort. They have to be ready. My apologies. I'm back. You have to you have to be ready to play with better effort. You have to be ready to play with higher intensity, and you have to be better than this. And I'm disappointed with how Josh has started his season, man. I really am. I think that's you know, injuries aside, and injuries, you can't blame anybody for injuries. Injuries just happen, but you do have to ask yourself, what can I do better? And I want to buy into Pastner, and I want to support Pastner, and I am supporting Pastner, and I am buying into Pastner, but you need better results than this, man. You do. Can attendance at the MAC possibly get worse after this? After this week, you bet your butt it will. Yeah, man, we're trying to build the program here. I have a podcast here. I'm trying to help UNLV basketball grow into what it needs to be, and it's tough when your sales pitch is, well, we folded against Rutgers in the second half. It's tough when your sales pitch is, well, we were rededicating UNLV's basketball court on opening night to Lois Tarkanian, and as the city tried to honor kind of what you could call the mother of UNLV basketball, and you blew it against UT Martin. It's tough when you're pointing at the box score and you're trying to tell people, hey, this team gave up 103 points to Montana. You should buy tickets and come. I hope that the team and the coaches and the players understand the gravity of the opportunity that they have and come out and play with the requisite effort and intensity when they play Stanford on December 7th. Lick your wounds, take a break, try and try and recover from this, just try and recover from this, because the thing that I worry about with a team like this is, yes, you can say, oh, well, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be good. But when a team loses like this, and when a team has as bad of an opening to a season as the Runnin Rebels have had, because the Rebels have been bad this season, they just haven't been good. You worry about their confidence. Do they believe that they can go out there and win? Do they? You worry about their confidence. And so you may say, oh, this is harsh, Jason. You shouldn't say give up. I mean, come on, they're injured. I hold UNLV basketball to a high standard. I don't hold it to a mediocre standard. I want it to be better. And you know, I just don't think that this team so far. I mean, Josh so far. If I had to give him if I had to give him as a coach a report card so far to start this season, and again, I'm not calling for his job. He's going to be the coach here for the next 3 or 4 years, and I want him to do well. But you can't start like this. I mean, he gets a D minus, a D plus for me in terms of how his season has started, and the team gets a D minus and a D plus or a D plus, and small short bursts of effort and fun play aren't enough to overcome this. And I want UNLV, I want the Thomas and Mack to be full. So D minus, the Runnin Rebels are going to lick their wounds. Yes, we have UNLV football, so that should be fun. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep talking about the teams. You do a hell of a job talking about UNLV basketball and our subject online forums like Rebel that died out because of how inept our athletic department was for so long. Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, Will. There are ways that this team can improve and get better. And, I still believe in these guys in this roster, but I need to see more fight here, guys. I do. I need to see more fight here because you gave up in the second half. And your excuses don't mean anything to me. Your injuries, you're tired. Rutgers can say a lot of the same things you can, and they came out and won the game. So I'm not going to beleaguer this any longer. I'm going to end this here. Josh will have a couple of weeks, like I said, to lick his wounds and get this team healthier and try and get them ready for Stanford. But I'm disappointed, to say the least, in how in this opening 8-game stretch of the season. I'm very disappointed. I think that not everything that can, a lot of things that could have gone wrong did go wrong, and it's a bummer. It's a big bummer. So I will be live tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a guest on, but I will be live tomorrow, either during or after or right before. Yes. Don't know where we win. Well, I mean, sorry, I guess I can do this real quick. let's break down UNLV's schedule here for you guys, just so you can see it. Because I feel like maybe before we get into talking about football, we can tell you kind of what I'm expecting. So UNLV drops to 134 in Ken Palm. We were as high as 98 a couple like before the start of this tournament. Um, UNLV's next game is away at Stanford. This is a Stanford team that blew out that Montana team that dropped 103 points on us a couple of weeks ago. That's going to be on the road. That's December 7th and December 13th. This game, I do not know where it's at. Okay, then we have a game against Tennessee State on December 13th. That's at Lee's Family Forum. So the Rebels are on their rodeo road trip right now. There's just basically not going to play very many games during this stretch. Then finally, the Rebels will return home to play Fresno State at home on December 20th. Fresno State's a good team, actually. I mean, not a great team, but Fresno State is a team that is not 6-2, that has done better this season. Wins over Utah Valley, Pepperdine, Fresno State, if UNLV plays like they played tonight, Fresno State will come into the Thomas and Mack and kill them. And if that happens, then we're starting to look at, first year Marvin Menzies type stuff from this UNLV basketball team. But, that's the rest of the non-conference. UNLV will get a kind of a tune-up game before it dives into the more difficult portions of its its conference schedule. But lick your wounds, try and get better. We'll see. I think that Stanford game is winnable. I expect the Rebels, even though I expect the Rebels to go in there and win that game and play with better effort. I expect the Rebels to beat Tennessee State. I expect them to beat Fresno State. I expect them to beat La Sierra. And so I expect the Rebels to win 4 straight and to be 7-5 heading into the bulk of their conference play. And I think that's the standard that we should expect as UNLV fans. UNLV football will be playing on Saturday in the Cannon game against Reno. We will know about all of the tiebreakers. Does Che redshirt? I think so, but that's up to Miles Che. Passner seemed to indicate that Che was going to come back for conference play. We will see. Broken foots are tough. He has not been able to be conditioning, and that's just going to be tough for him to kind of recover from. But I think Che redshirts, but again, that's Miles Che's decision. I don't think anybody's going to make it for him. If he wants to play, he still has another year of eligibility after this. If he wants to play, he's going to play. I hope he does. The team badly needs him because Dre is just not a point guard. He's a slashing 2 guard. He's a great player, but he's just not the answer for point guard at this team right now. I will be live tomorrow previewing the Reno game, and we're going to be talking about all the scenarios. If Boise State and San Diego State win, UNLV has no path to the conference championship game. Any other variation, UNLV has a path to the conference championship game. And so I will be talking kind of post game and previewing the Reno game and talking a little bit about UNLV football tomorrow. If I would give you something to root for the UNLV football program, you are rooting for San Diego State to beat New Mexico, and you are rooting for Utah State to beat Boise State. In that scenario, it's UNLV playing at San Diego State for the conference championship. In a matchup where if UNLV got to play San Diego State, really any of these teams, I think if UNLV can get back to the conference championship game, I think they're favored, honestly. I think that UNLV football is playing great. And we will know. And we will know kind of what's going to happen, what we need from the Reno game in order to make the conference championship game, if that's even possible. We will know that by tomorrow afternoon. So I'm excited to see if UNLV football can sneak into the conference championship game. If we can, there's a chance that we can win it and return to the LA Bowl. That would be great. So guys, that's all for now. I will talk to you tomorrow afternoon. I love the Runnin' Rebels. I love Coach Passner. I think he's a good guy. I want them to succeed, and I have a high standard for them. And they gave up, and they did not. And through this opening 8-game stretch, they have not lived up to that standards. They gave up. They showed a lack of fight, and I don't appreciate that. And so I'll just say it like I see it. So, guys, let me know your thoughts. I'm still going to be covering the team. Still love the team. I still believe in the team. Still think they can do things, and I think it's important to hold your team to high standards. And that's what I'll try and do, and I hope you will too. So, guys, let me know your thoughts. Send me DMs. Respond to this. I'd love to talk to you about what you think. I'll talk to you soon, and let's run.